What is going on, guys? And welcome to the full movie of beating Terraria with space weapons only. If you enjoy the movie, make sure to let me know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See y'all next time. Peace. Hey guys, it's Thundercry back again, and in my last challenge, I beat Terraria using only the weapons the NPCs use. But can I do it with space-themed weapons? That's what I set out to find. Just like in my last challenge, this will be split up into 3 parts: pre-hard mode, pre-golem, and post-golem. With how it'll be split up out of the way, what does space-themed mean? Pretty much exactly what you think it does. Weapons that look like they could have come from space. For example, there's the Star Fury, the Phase Blades, and the Xenopopper. Basically, all weapons that look like they could come from space are free to use. With that out of the way, let's get into it. As soon as I made my character, I trashed my copper short sword. Maybe I'll use you in a video someday, buddy. Then I spent about 20 minutes reconfiguring my controls, since I was messing around with something since the last time I played. So yeah, that sucked, but I'm now 99% sure I got them all. Anyway, once that was done, I did the usual and explored around. Getting some early game accessories was all I was focused on right now. I was a bit too eager though and went into a cave without any torches. It's fine, since I was able to break some pots in the dark and get some. Now, I don't know if this is a bad omen for the rest of the world, but the first chest I found was a trapped chest. But it did have some warding shoe spikes in it, so do with that information what you will. But I thought it was pretty good. I decided to call it quits in the caves for now and went back to the surface and found multiple living trees. I can't even use the finch staff in this challenge though, so there's not really anything I need down here. I kept heading to the left in search of the corruption, the source of shadow orbs. If I shatter one, I can get a meteorite to spawn, and just like that, I'll be able to get my first weapon and armor. I know meteorite only spawns after the Eater of Worlds is defeated. I found that out a bit later, and it crushed my soul. Then, after many failed attempts, I was able to make myself down to an orb and destroy it. Yeah! To pass the time, I went to explore the desert. I grabbed some cactus and went down. I was hoping to find an ancient chisel so I could mine a bit quicker. Instead, I felt threatened and went home to the safety of my little wood shack. After I made some cactus gear, I kept going to the desert. Guys, you wouldn't believe what I found. Pyramid! I'm now 2 for 2 on pyramids in these challenges. Oh, and I did see all the comments last time about being able to shimmer the Pharaoh's robes. Looks like the game decided to give me the sandstorm straight up this time. I prefer this just because I don't want to have to find the shimmer so early. After equipping it, I headed back up and kept heading right and ran right into the jungle. But got cornered by a bat and a man-eater, so had to leave. It was around this time that I looked up the meteorite and found out it only crashed down after the world boss had been defeated. So I made a tungsten pickaxe and went into the caves to find a gravitation potion. Aside from meteorite weapons, the Star Fury is the only weapon I can use in pre-hard mode. Meteorite can also spawn in golden chests near the underworld, so if I could find some bars I wouldn't even need gravitation potions, so I dove down and began my search. And while spelunking, I actually found the skeleton merchant, who sold me the artisan loaf. Not a game-changing item, but a huge quality of life item. At least to me it is. So before departing, I sold some junk I didn't need and went on my way. Mining. 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 I just want to find something so I can actually begin attacking. All I have to defend myself right now is the cactus armor with its thorns effect, and getting hit doesn't tickle either. And after all that mining, I got a grand total of 1 gravitation potion. I looked around a bit more for some golden chests, but didn't end up finding any. I also explored the underworld for a bit. I didn't even have a demonite pickaxe though, so I wasn't able to mine anything down here. Not even a hellforge. So after recalling home and quick stacking into my chests, I got ready to explore the final frontier. Space. Taking a gravitation potion and a featherfall potion, I began my search. Island number 1. Sky Lake.
Oh my god, dude, really?
Island number 2. Shiny red balloon. Not terrible. Island number 3. Lucky horseshoe. Okay, I'm starting to get worried. If I don't get a Star Fury, I'm gonna be out a starter weapon. If that happens, I'd have to fish in the Sky Lake for the Star Fury. So with 50 seconds left on my potion, I recalled and explored the other side for the remainder of the time, and didn't find anything. Since I was on the left side of the world, I went over and found the dungeon. That's about it. I didn't really do much and ended up going home shortly after. At this point, I was going through a midlife crisis. If I wanted a Star Fury, I had to fish it up with a Sky Crate, which is already a low chance to get one anyway. And then on top of that, there's only a 25% chance to get a Star Fury from the crate. Then I began catching bugs. But with a last-ditch attempt effort, I went to the part of the map I hadn't explored and roped to the build limit. I still didn't see anything, so I left off for a last-ditch effort. There! A sky island! You can't hide from me now! So after building up and dodging harpies, I opened the chest. Island number 4. Star Fury. Using the Star Fury, I quickly took out the surrounding harpies. It feels so good to use a weapon. So with my new weapon, I went to the mines and collected as much platinum as I could. Using all my platinum, I crafted full armor and an amethyst hook. Oh yeah, and I also killed the Av Cthulhu a couple times. Before I took on the Eater of Worlds, I slowed down and built a little storage building. I'm not much of a builder, but I don't think it looks half bad. To tell the truth, anything is better than just having a bunch of chests scattered around your base. So there we go, chest storage complete. I headed over to the Corruption and began construction on an arena. Once that was done, I went down, took some buffs, and spawned the Eater of Worlds in. The Star Fury absolutely obliterated him. It's so nice having good weapons again. After a less than challenging fight, I emerged victorious. So I went home and made some shadow armor and slept until a meteorite fell. And I instantly went after it. Yeah, I just made shadow armor, but that's just for defense. What I'm really after is meteor armor. After mining a total of 597 ore, I went home and got some new gear. After I made some gear that was literally out of this world. Get it? Like space? Like how it's out of this world. The space gun is also incredibly useful, since with the meteor armor, the space gun becomes completely free to use. And luckily, just before I was about to turn the game off for the day, a goblin invasion, well, invaded. I absolutely shredded, with a capital S, the goblins with my space gun. Once they were dealt with, I headed underground to find the golfer and the goblin. I had over 1 platinum coin, so I reforged my weapons a bit. Then I condensed 9 accessories into just 3. The goblin is definitely the most useful NPC. Oh yeah, I also bought a lawnmower. Yay. With nothing else much to do, I built some more NPC houses and started on my elevator. There isn't really much to talk about here, so here's the entire mining process in about 8 seconds. Once I broke my way into the underworld, I grabbed a Hellforge and some Hellstone. I didn't need Hellstone armor, so I didn't need too much Hellstone itself. All I needed to make was the pickaxe, and I decided to also make the ham axe. With my newest upgrades, I grabbed some materials to craft a King Slime Summon, and went to craft the Summoner. I actually made 3, so here's the 3 King Slime fights in about 8 seconds. Unfortunately, I didn't get what I wanted, which was the slime mount. Mainly just to use it so it would be quicker getting to the underworld with it. Before I made the Wall of Flesh bridge, I replaced all the walls in my elevator with dirt. In hindsight, I should have used wood or some other uncorruptible block, but that's a problem for future me. Okay, and then next on my to-do list, I made some stone platforms and began construction on the Wall of Flesh bridge. So here's the entire bridge construction in about 8 seconds. The last thing I did was place a couple campfires and grab some potions, and it was time for the Wall of Flesh fight. The space gun made this an absolute breeze. It pierces as well, so it was able to take out the hungry. Occasionally I swapped to my Star Fury, but the space gun was the MVP of the fight. Now you might have noticed that I didn't take on Skeletron. I didn't even think there was a reason for me to go there, honestly. Yeah, the Cobalt Shield would have been good for knockback, but it wasn't a necessity. There actually was a bit of a scare near the end of the fight, because one of the hungry knocked me back into the wall. But all I had to do was take a potion, and I prevailed, and defeated this vile beast. And with that, pre-hard mode is over. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the first part of using space weapons only. I actually had a lot of fun with it, so if you enjoyed, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all next time. Peace. Fellows, and welcome to part 2 of beating Terraria with space weapons only. Last time I beat the Wall of Flesh, and now it's time to go through hard mode up to Golem. So let's get right into it! Okay, so you guys will never guess what amazing and fun activity I began hard mode with. I grabbed a Daybloom. All jokes aside though, I went to my nearby hollow to grab some pixie dust. I needed it for my new weapon. Comment down below what you think my new weapon will be. It's the meteorite staff. To craft it, I'll need 20 meteorite bars, 10 pixie dust, and 10 souls of light. Then, once I have everything, I can craft the meteorite staff and an orichalcum anvil. Oh yeah. Well, I already got all the pixie dust I needed, so I grabbed my pwn hammer and headed to the corruption to smash some demon altars. Now that I blessed my world with palladium, orichalcum, and titanium, I began the mining process. After I got my orichalcum anvil, I made my newest weapon, the meteor staff. I also reforged it to mythical. Next up was getting some titanium armor, and while I was mining the ore, I was interrupted by a blood moon. I mainly just wanted the money trough. Long story short, I didn't get it. Some NPCs also died in the process too. Oopsie! So off I went back underground. Here's how that turned out. Yeah, I got that rod of discord! I really wish I was recording my voice during this part, but all that matters is that I got it on video. I can't even remember the last time I got it this early into hard mode, but it's gonna help a lot. After I got that though, I just kept mining until I got up to titanium. The next big upgrade I needed was wings. So, armed with my meteor staff, I headed up to the heavens. Funny enough, after I got all the souls of flight I needed, I also got a giant harpy wing. I wish I had gotten it that quickly in my last challenge. My meteor staff was awesome, but if I was facing an enemy in a narrow cave, it was useless. So I crafted up a green phase blade and upgraded it to the green phase saber. This is actually the first time in my 9 years of playing Terraria where I've made one of these and actually used it. With my new extremely epic and powerful weapons, I decided to take on the foul beast of the dungeon. This fight was over in the blink of an eye. With my new weapons, I took Skeletron down no problem. After that clown was defeated, I headed over to the ice biome and killed a frost giant for frost wings. I got them, but I realized the ice wings had the same stats as the harpy wings. Next on my list was to test my skills against a boss, and who better than the Queen Slime? With that epic fail, I went to the jungle and tried finding a nature's gift so I could craft it up to a mana flower. A big reason I lost the Queen Slime fight was just not having a constant flow of mana. Once I ran out, I was just flying around until it regened. And with all my new skills and items, I gave Queen Slime a rematch. There were actually some ridiculously close moments during it, but since I'm him, I was able to win the fight. I reflected on my weapons at home once again and began thinking about some bosses that I would have to face in a more confined area, such as Plantera and Golem. So I started to build a platform going across part of my world for easy star collection. I was going to make the Super Star Shooter. I also went to the underworld and got my little Terrarian mitts on some Souls of Night. Once I was satisfied with the amount I had, I came back to base, grabbed some potions, and crafted a mechanical worm. This is where the meteorite staff would truly shine. I really wish I had the DPS meter for this fight since I was just melting the destroyer. The only thing I really had to deal with was the probes that it was sending out, along with all the lasers they shot. But it wasn't too long until this mechanical menace was brought down. That was based! I also had a mechanical eye I got from a random enemy, so with all my buffs active, I summoned them in. Unfortunately, this didn't turn out too well. There were a total of 3 things I noticed during it that I'm 109% sure led to my downfall. The first being knockback. Near the end, they both ganged up on me, knocking me into each other, leading to a quick death. The second was not defeating them individually. I got them both into their second phase instead of focusing my attacks on one. And finally, the third one was not even utilizing the Rod of Discord. I could have easily used it to escape the knockback, but I just wasn't thinking about it. The last thing I did for the day was make some magic power and mana regen potions and also crafted up 2 more mechanical worms. Since I was able to defeat the destroyer so fast last time, I figured I could do it a few more times to get more hallowed bars. So I buffed up and took down the 2 worms. Once they were defeated, I ran across my bridge to try and get more stars for the Super Star Shooter. With my stars collected, I opened my remaining treasure bags and got some more hallowed bars. So after some fishing, reforging, and campfire placement, I began a rematch with the ominous Opticals. With what I had in mind from last time's fight, I was easily able to defeat them this time. The Rod of Discord definitely saved my life way more than once, so I'm really glad I was lucky enough to get it. Oh yeah, there was a goblin army also, but they weren't really a problem. With the Destroyer and Twins defeated, all that was left was Skeletron Prime, so off to the dungeon I went. I think this is the first time I've even gone down here, so I had 0 bones to craft a summon item. So after farming all I needed, I went home and crafted the Mechanical Skull. This was definitely one of the easier bosses so far, and using the right potions made it even easier. There wasn't much else to say about the fight, so... As soon as that was done, I went to the underground jungle to try and get some life fruit. No, I didn't wait for any to grow. No, I didn't make the pickaxe axe or the Drex. No, I don't know why I didn't wait for it, but it went about as well as you could expect. All I ended up getting was one life fruit and had to go home before dying. But I did go back and got a grand total of 1. I got one more. A new day, a new goal. And this goal was preparing to fight the Empress of Light. I'm gonna be honest here, I don't really know anything about the Empress of Light. I know a lot more now, but unfortunately I can't change what happened, so I'll tell you what I did. When recording, I thought you could fight the Empress of Light at any time during hard mode, but it's only after Terraria is defeated. So I cleared out an area during the day, and during the night I hunted for a prismatic lacewing. I was gonna try and get the stellar tune, but literally writing this script, I checked the wiki and saw it only had a 2% drop chance. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna go for it in part 3 now, but that's a problem for future Thundercry. And after inevitably failing to find a prismatic lacewing, I went back to the underground jungle. Since I spent a good chunk of time waiting, there was way more life fruit up for grabs. I also used this time to mine some chlorophyte to upgrade my armor. I guess you could call me the Green Mage. I also made a chlorophyte pickaxe, and with that, I went off to make a Terraria arena. So, here's the entire Terraria arena in about, 8 seconds. So with the arena complete, it was time to take down this plant. Using some pretty basic buffs and the meteor staff, I took this last down. And with that, I went off to the hollow to try and finish the Empress. I actually got further than I thought I would, so with proper buffs, more life, and a better arena, I think I could probably do it. So in order to get more life, you guessed it, I went back to the underground jungle! While I was there, I also went and unlocked the lizard temple and made my way to the main chamber. I had some spare power cells that I grabbed while running through it, so I thought I'd try Golem to see how I fare. So I took a couple buffs I got from exploring the jungle and spawned Golem in. This was actually a pretty challenging fight, but in the end, I lost the battle. Psych! After that easy win, I went up to try and find a Martian probe to summon the Martians. I honestly forgot that I had to end this part of the recording and did a bit of the Martian invasion before realizing I was done. So I'll just have to finish this in the next part. Hey everyone, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm really sorry for not posting in a while. I've gotten really busy with work and Thanksgiving, so I hope you'll forgive me. And also, I do have a full-time job, and I like getting off work and not having to work again, if that makes sense. But again, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all next time. Peace. Hey everyone, what's going on? Hope you're all doing good. And welcome to the final part of beating Terraria with space weapons only. I don't want to drag out this intro, so let's get right into it. We'll pick up where we left off, by taking on the Martian invasion. Since all the enemies are literally from space, that means all the weapons I can get from the event are usable too. And that being said, the main weapon I wanted was the Influx Waver, which is dropped by the Martian saucer. So I had to kill some of the normal enemies first. However, they do have a 0.13% chance to drop the charged blaster cannon, which I would gladly take. So I perched myself on my storage building and rained down hell on these intergalactic miscreants. And then finally, when I was 87% through the event, the first saucer spawned. I did end up losing to it though, but after multiple invasions and multiple deaths, I eventually take it out. But that happens a bit later. And then I took about the next hour just farming this event. It was either Martian weapons or the Stellar Tune, which has a 5% drop chance and drops from a boss I've never beaten legitly, so I was stuck. I recorded the rest of the gameplay about 2 weeks after, which you've already seen, so I had a bit of time to reset my mind. So I started another Martian invasion and began farming. First, I got the Skutlix mount, which shot lasers at enemies. It wasn't a weapon, but it's a space animal? So I used it a bit. Once another saucer spawned though, I locked in. Using the Skutlix for increased movement speed along with the lasers it shot out, I also used my meteor staff that was doing efficient damage. It took me a little bit to get the attack patterns down, but once I did, it was smooth sailing from there. First time it dropped the Xenopopper, the weapon that actually made me think of this challenge to begin with. The second time I got the Electrosphere Launcher, and then after that was over, I went and made some more houses so I can get the Cyborg. If I wanted to use the Electrosphere Launcher, I needed ammo. Armed with my new launcher, I challenged the Tyrant of the Hollow, and lost once again. But I do feel better at learning the patterns now, so it won't be long until I can win. Next Martian saucer, next new loot. And the new loot in question was the Cosmic Car Key, the UFO mount. And then, after that, I got the Xeno Summon Staff. Some extra damage is always appreciated. I went to the dungeon to grab some post-Plantera loot, and no, not any of the biome weapons. I was after the Tabi and the Black Belt. It has a better dash than the Shield of Cthulhu, plus it gives me a chance to dodge attacks. So once I got them, I crafted the Master Ninja gear. And then after making them, I tried my hand at the Empress of Light once more. There wasn't much to see here, just another death. But she did get down to a 21,000 health, so I was definitely getting closer. Soon after that, I went to the underground jungle to get topped up on my health. I also grabbed some chlorophyte. Since I'm using the Electrosphere launcher, I didn't need the mage helmet anymore. So after mining, getting max life, and killing Plantera, I began making an above ground mushroom biome. I was wanting to upgrade my armor soon, so I needed shroomite. While I left the mushroom grass to spread, I went to the underground ice biome to try and find some ice skates. I've had the lightning boots for pretty much the whole time, and I wanted to try and make my way up to the Terra Spark boots. So after about half an hour and many Spelunker potions later, I ended up getting the ice skates. And with that, the Frostbark boots were made. While I was home sorting my inventory and making the boots, the Truffle moved in. So I bought the Auto Hammer and took the precious Shroomite bars to the guy to see how much I would need. Next, I killed the Wall of Flesh for some reason. I wanted the Ranger emblem, but I don't know why I just didn't shimmer my mage one. I mean, it doesn't really matter, I ended up getting it first try though. Since I was pretty deep in the world, I decided to spend some time looking for the Lava Charm. Next on the to-do list was grabbing some blue mushrooms. Needing 15 of them per Shroomite meant I needed a lot. So I dug around underground for all the mushroom biomes I could find and collected some shrooms. But as it got closer to nightfall, I once again wanted to fight the Empress of Light. So after buffing, shooting, teleporting, and a near death, I finally took down the Empress of Light. Once I got my hands on that very appealing treasure bag, I finally opened it and got the Eventide. I tried this fight a couple more times, but ended up not winning ever again, so I'm not even going to be able to use the Stellar Tune. It's pretty unfortunate, but in the end of the day, there's nothing much I can do. The Soaring Insignia, on the other hand, I was able to use. Infinite Flight is something I would gladly take. I also started digging down in the ocean to try and find the Shimmer along with some water walking boots. There was a life crystal near the Shimmer, so I threw it in. I also went home, grabbed a spare life fruit, and got a normal fruit, and threw those in the Shimmer as well. With those upgrades done, I went back down to my favorite biome, the underground jungle. I needed the last bit of chlorophyte for my Shroomite armor. And just like that, Shroomite was made. Now that I got better armor, it was time to get better wings too. So I grabbed a water candle and went below the surface into the dark mushroom caves. I was in search of the elusive truffle worm, the favorite snack of the dreaded Duke Fishron. I stuck around for a bit getting multiple worms in case I didn't get the wings first try. Once I thought I had enough, I went home, grabbed some buffs, and made my way to the ocean. This was actually an incredibly easy fight with the Soaring Insignia. There was just one close call near the end in the third phase though. I just didn't know the pattern he attacks in, so I was bound to get hit a couple times. But using the Master Ninja Gear's dash, it turned out okay. And having a chance to dodge attacks didn't hurt either. And just like that, the Duke was defeated. And I got the wings first try. I debated doing the fight a few more times, but there literally wasn't anything I could use, so I decided to go home and that was that. Next up was some money farming. I took a few Eye of Cthulhu spawners and easily defeated them. What I did next marked the beginning of the end. I made my way over to the dungeon and took on the Lunatic Cultist. This was actually a pretty standard fight, everything considered. The only part that really sucked was that my launcher kept the projectiles in place for a few seconds, and when the fake cultist spawned, more often than not the lingering projectiles would hit the wrong one. But the dragon that was summoned was easily taken down by said projectile, so it wasn't too big a deal. Once that was done, something kind of funny happened. The Stardust Pillar basically just spawned on screen. It was also a wee bit humorous how the pillar slowly descended down upon the terrain. Oh, I think it's a good time to mention that I won't be using any of the pillar weapons right now. While yes, they technically are space themed, they are very powerful, and I feel like they would have just made the rest of the game too easy, so I'm only going to be using them as a last resort. After taking down by far the easiest pillar in my opinion, I went to fight Plantera again. I honestly don't even remember why, but here's the footage. Easy enough fight, and Plantera was downed once more. When it was over, I actually noticed that the spiky balls that she shoots out actually move towards you. That actually makes a lot of sense why I feel like I'm always getting hit by them. I thought it was pretty funny, and it was something I had no idea was in the game. Next on the agenda was moving to the temple and finding some solar tablets. I wanted to craft the celestial shell, so I would need a way to summon the event. I also used this time to fight Golem a few more times. I then ended this day of gaming by peacefully standing on my top-notch NPC housing. We're in the home stretch now, so I won't show any more mundane tasks, like grinding for money or killing bosses I've already beat, so here we go. First off, I summoned the solar eclipse and got all I needed for the celestial shell, so I crafted that puppy up. Then I got it to warding, the cost-effective way, and made my way to the vortex pillar. After multiple deaths, the vortex pillar was finally down. Only 2 left now, and we're so close to yet another challenge complete. I really wanted the Terra Spark boots so I could have the best of everything. But for those, I needed the water walking boots, and I didn't have any. I searched around but couldn't find any water chests, so I resorted to fishing in the ocean. Long story short, this was extremely boring, and I didn't even get what I was looking for, so I ended up moving on. Then flew to the Nebula Pillar. Then, following some really boring attacking, running, and healing, I took it down. Taking on the Solar Pillar was annoying as usual. I used the same tactic as the Nebula Pillar. Attack, run, heal. And after about 20 minutes it was brought down. With my impending doom approaching, I grabbed as many potions as I could and flew to my arena. A little bit of panic set in when the Moonlord spawned, as per usual. The whole challenge led up to this, so I had to focus. Keeping my distance was key. The main laser he shot from the top of his eye was easy to dodge, but when his eyes popped out and shot their own lasers, that's where it got tricky. They were a lot quicker and smaller, so it didn't give me much room for error. All I had to do was just stay back far enough so they couldn't reach me. With that problem solved, all I had to do was dodge as many projectiles as I could and be smart with my weapon placement. Funny enough, I used the same exact strategy that I used in my last challenge with NPC weapons. Since the Electrosphere Launcher and the Resonance Scepter both place projectiles wherever you click at, all I had to do was just attack a bit ahead of the Moonlord and he would just run into them. And not too long after I got that groove going, the Lord of the Moon was defeated. Now that all of the challenges were out of the way, I decided to build another victory hall. I think I'm going to do this on every challenge video I have. It's just a little something to commemorate the occasion. I kept the build space themed and made a UFO above my base. I ended up getting a lot of Martian blocks during the Martian invasions, so I was able to use those. I also added a teleporter to simulate getting beamed up by it. And I don't really build very much on here, but when I do, I really try to make it look good. So please let me know what you thought down below. And with that, another challenge is completed. I wonder what I'll be doing next. Hey everyone, here it is, the ending of beating Terraria with space weapons only. I really hope you all enjoyed it, and if you have any tips or suggestions for what I should do, let me know. Like in my last video, Terraria Jones, I hope I pronounced that right, commented how I sounded a bit off, and when I asked how, they respectfully told me how they thought. I've tried changing it up just because of the feedback, so I really hope you guys have more thoughts and tell me in the comments below. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy the video again, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.